Hello everyone, I'm Frederick Lansong. I'm the assistant engineer from Fortinet, Philippines. Today I'm going to talk about our SIM solution, specifically delivering a next generation SIM to the modern data center. So why do we need actually a solution like a SIM? So the reason is because you as a customer, you have a lot of environment. You have a lot of devices, networks, servers, systems that needs to be monitored, that needs to be maintained. These devices can range from client devices, server with application installed, as well as network and devices. Even in the cloud or in a premise, we need to have that visibility and capability to effectively and timely manage all of these devices, specifically incidents and logs. So the solution that we have here is FortiSIM, which is actually a solution that monitors all of your assets across your organization. It is able to provide you the visibility from endpoint through the cloud in a single unified platform. So what FortiSIM is actually is it combines both the SIM, the SOC, Security Operation Center, and NOC, Network Operation Center analytics into one system. If you look at the SOC, typically this part of your operations team is taking care of security events that are generated by your system or devices. So this could be web applications, server, firewall, etc. that could produce logs pertaining to security. While your NOC or operations team that is concerned with availability, performance, they monitor parameters such as CPU utilization, memory, storage, uptime, and etc. So these are actually two different monitoring categories. And what FortiSIM actually will do, it provides you a combined NOC and SOC environment in a single dashboard, a solution where you have a single dashboard where you can see the correlation of all of the security events with respect to performance. And it can also stand individually. So you'll be able to monitor all your network devices, performance, availability, as well as any security incidents, all under one solution. FortiSIM has capability to do increased functionality because it can correlate. So that means this incident might be related to one another, whether it be security or performance. So the end benefit would be providing customer with increased visibility and reduced time to response, since it's just a single system. So what the FortiSIM has actually, if you can see here, we have a CMDB. So client management database is a system or a capability of FortiSIM automatically discovering network devices, as well as it catalogs all the discovered devices in terms of attributes, characteristics, resource, etc. All of these are, the FortiSIM is being backed by the FortiGuard, which can provide external threat intelligence, which enhances the reporting capability of FortiSIM, specifically with the threat reporting, right? For example, there's a detection of a particular security incident. FortiGuard can further enhance that detected incident with a background coming from the threat intelligence of Fortinet. Now, in terms of log ingestion, we usually ingest SNMP, ICMP, WMI, syslogs. So these are standard protocols that a lot of our network devices produce. The logs they produce. So it provides also application visibility via the agent, which I'll later discuss. Also, we can also have a statistic with regards to the network traffic consumption, for example, for devices that could have produced those kinds of logs. So FortiSIM, as you can see here, it is extensive. It is able to support hundreds of vendors out of the box. So that means there are already built-in capability of FortiSIM to understand logs from different kinds of network and device category, from IPS to network devices, routers, servers, Linux, etc., etc. So all of these devices are all capable of producing logs, and they can be sending the logs to FortiSIM. By the way, I would like to also mention custom parser is supported. So if ever there's a network vendor or a vendor in your network environment where there's no built-in, we will be able to do custom parser. That means we can customize based on that log we will be able to create a parser, a translator, so that it will translate the lag into something that FortiSIM understands. So in terms of FortiSIM, we do have end-to-end visibility because we monitor the endpoint, the network, and even the cloud. So for infrastructure log, for example, we ingest firewall router, DHCP, etc. These are more infrastructure log monitoring. While also for the endpoint, in addition to the agent that you can install on the Windows server and other systems that you want to do application level monitoring, we have the UEBA agent, which you can install to client devices, workstation. So it provides high fidelity agent log, granular reporting. It has a machine learning engine, and it can also detect anomalous behavior and other etc. functionalities. Okay. So for network and server and application monitoring, this is the cycle of how the FortiSIM will be able to process all of these logs. So firstly, it will correlate this. That means it will, once it receives the log, it will parse it to something that is analyzed or understandable by FortiSIM. Then it will run analytics. That means it will analyze the logs, look at the details, etc. And it can do trigger an alert to the administrator if that log is something to be concerned with. This alerting can be customized depending on the threshold level of what the administrator would want. And then FortiSIM can also produce out-of-the-box reports or even custom reports specific to the devices that the customer would like to have the report on. And this is a continuous cycle. So FortiSIM is continuously running in the network, processing all of these logs. Looking at the network visibility, we're able to ingest NetFlow compatible devices, traffic from NetFlow compatible devices. And you can see here, we can see the trend in terms of the throughput, in terms of the source and destination IP addresses specific to the device. Report can be in a pie chart format, a bar graph, a line graph format. So there are many options in terms of reporting. And also you can run scheduled report or a customized report also, like an on-demand report. FortiSIM can also ingest pickup files specific for network traffic. We can also monitor cloud services. So that means a SIM solution would be able to extend your visibility even in the cloud. Whether you are exclusively using cloud, you're doing a hybrid network environment where you have mix of on-prem and cloud servers or services that needs to be monitored, or just purely on-premises. So we have a lot of options since our devices are very flexible, our solutions very flexible to deploy anywhere. So for the deployment mode, you can see here, there's an example, on-prem. So this is where we put the FortiSIM, whether in appliance or virtual machine format. We support hypervisors like ESXi and Hyper-V. For the hybrid cloud, in the cloud, of course, it would have to be a VM. So we can deploy a VM. And the purely cloud, customer might not have any on-premise SIM solution. However, the central management and the entire SIM can be deployed in the cloud, whether it be a private cloud or a public cloud. Now let's go to the CMDB. This is an example of our dashboard where you can see the discovered devices or the monitor devices by the SIM. You can see here the dates. You can see here what is the status of the monitor device, any incidents pertaining to it. And if there are any configuration changes, we can also track if there are any configuration changes that was done by an administrator to that particular monitor device. So each of these monitor device has all of these statistics, all of this information inside the CMDB. We can also see here that FortiSIM is capable of grouping the services or servers that it's monitoring into different categories or groups. The reason for this is, like a customer, we might have a particular group of servers specifically for a particular application or a particular service. That means if any server goes wrong in that group, for example, it's an ERP or maybe it's a web server pertaining to the apps application. So the customer will be easily able to track if there's something wrong with the particular business service that they have. Our solution is actually rapid scalable. So that means there's a supervisor. This is a central management component. This is a core component of the FortiSIM. And then we have the collector. So what the collector does is basically, it's a component of FortiSIM that can be deployed and can be scaled to ingest the logs. Each collector can ingest up to 5,000 events per second, for example, from multiple sources of devices. And what the collector does is basically it ingests all those logs, compress it, and send it to the supervisor. However, if there are a lot of collector and one supervisor resource is not enough, the supervisor can actually get help from workers. This is how we scale. What the workers does is it basically gets the log, compressed log from all of this collector and process it. Because if we will have all the logs processed by the supervisor might not have the enough resources to do so. So what the supervisor does is basically it takes all the process log from the worker and it is basically instructing this worker to do the processing. You can see here as the number of worker or collector increased, the system EPS or event per second capability will increase as well. This is very good because customer can actually pay as they grow. That means at this time, if they don't need that many number of collector or worker, they can start small and eventually grow larger. Another thing I want to mention is, if you can see here, these are some of the core functionality or key functionality that FortiSIM can do in terms of monitoring. In terms of devices, it could be from AWS network, a server storage application, or even an environmental device that can provide logs. In terms of functionality, it can provide availability, performance, change, security, as well as compliance related. However, in the incidents, in the security part, we can also provide threat hunting capability, business service monitoring, a baseline security assessment, as well as Fortinet fabric integration. This is for existing Fortinet solution. For example, the FortiGate, FortiSIM can integrate with that so that there will be additional functionality or benefit. Reporting can also be done to tend to focus on security, performance, availability, or compliance. Now, if you look at this, these are the example dashboard that FortiSIM can provide. So you can see there are multiple kinds of reporting that can be done and across different categories. It is flexible, so customer can actually select which apps or widget they want to provide or they want to project constantly. For example, if they have a SOC or NOC, can project all of this up in the command center of the SOC or NOC environment. We also have easy to use analytics. That means we can provide historical and real-time analytics with easy to learn graphical user interface. So with FortiSIM, there's no need to learn command line interface. Everything is via web GUI. So this is also capable to be drilled down, capable to do filtering. For example, if investigation is needed, gives a customer a flexibility of getting what they want to see. We also have relevant and accessible incident information. Like, for example, incident overview dashboard, as you can see here on the right. We also have incident explorer dashboard. You can drill down to particular detected incidents. Risk related, so that means a particular incident is detected. FortiSIM will tell you what's the risk level and what is the detail pertaining to that incident. We also have an attack dashboard that actually is based on the MITRE. So that means if an incident is detected, FortiSIM will tell you where in the kill chain of a typical attack kill chain the incident detected is classified as. So that means the analyst, the SOC and NOC engineer will be able to know in which stage of the threat kill chain or the attack kill chain the FortiSIM detected incident is already telling them, and based on the device logs. And lastly, UEBA dashboard. So this is a dashboard pertaining to devices that have the UEBA agent installed, which actually is like a SIM log agent collector on an endpoint client device. UEBA doesn't collect the screen capture or key logging. So that means the user privacy is still intact. The UEBA only monitors system or operating system related logs and applications. Now let's look at some of the features of FortiSIM agents. So here a summary you can see here. These are the capabilities of the agent. This is an agent where we install in Windows or Linux server. As you can see, by default, if the server is Windows and or Linux and it doesn't have any agent, there are limited log capability that can be provided to the FortiSIM. For Windows, it's via WMI, Linux via syslog. So the limitation is actually OS level only logs. However, if you install the FortiSIM agent, it can provide you advanced logs specifically to a particular process in the server or system, or even to the particular application level log. This greatly produces more detailed log and better detection and reporting capabilities. So we only not log the operating system, but even the application. FortiSIM currently has 200 plus third-party device integration. So you can see here across different vendor, different categories of system. It is a currently constantly growing list, and we're definitely adding more. As of now, most of the major operating system, major vendors are already here. So as a customer, you probably a lot of have this system already in your network, some of this. So it's not hard to deploy the FortiSIM because of all the already out-of-the-box support. In summary, you can see how FortiSIM enhances a typical SIM solution. Here you can see the typical SIM features common to across all the SIM solution vendors. However, what FortiSIM can provide is enhanced capability, like for example, the single pane of glass, capability to do multi-tenancy, real-time analytics. It can discover asset automatically and configuration changes as well. It can also provide logs or reports relating to network security and application analytics. This is also rapidly scalable architecture, like I mentioned on how we can scale. And then it also has rapid and flexible integration with a lot of vendor and support as well. So at the end of the day, the benefit basically is this is already a proven solution. It is very scalable and it's vendor agnostic. That means you're not limited to a particular vendor. Any vendor that the SIM solution can support, you can add here. It's also multi-tenant, especially if you have a lot of business unit or you're an MSSP provider, you can leverage FortiSIM. Lastly, it can also provide information pertaining to network performance and applications. That's it for my discussion on FortiSIM. Thank you for your time and have a great day.